sent shockwaves through the NBA this morning. We pick up the pieces and predict how the new-look East will play out. NBA Today tips off right now. That brings us to today's top story. Detroit Pistons All-Star Cade Cunningham will miss time due to a collapsed lung. The Pistons have just 14 games left in the regular season, and the playoffs start in just 30 days. Senior insider Shams Charania broke that story this morning, and Shams joins us now. Shams, what more can you tell us about how long the Pistons could be without Cade?
George, Cade Cunningham is expected to miss an extended period of time. It's going to be at least a few weeks, and I'm told right now Cunningham, the Pistons, the medical group in Detroit are working through the next steps to continue to gather information on treatment plans, recovery, and eventually a rehab plan. And my understanding is there is optimism within the Pistons that Cunningham will be back for the playoffs. That's about a month away, but they're unsure exactly when he'll be able to, and his importance can't be understated. He has one of the highest usage ratings in the league. He means everything Detroit from a culture perspective, on-court perspective, but now he will be out for an extended period of time.
All right, Shams, thank you so much for the information. Cunningham has played 60 games this season that count towards the postseason award selection. If he's unable to play the remainder of the regular season, he would miss out on any of those honors. Cade is top 3 on the Pistons in every major statistical category. We welcome you inside our studio alongside NBA champion Kendrick Perkins and the host of the Hoop Collective podcast, Brian Windhorst. I'm George Sedano in for Malika Andrews. Tough blow, obviously, for the Pistons. So, Perk, how much will this shake up the East?
Listen, first of all, we need Cade Cunningham. The league needs him. Like us as fans, we want to see him in the big moment of the postseason. Let me get that out the way. Secondly, Cade, when he's available, the Detroit Pistons are a legit title contender. When he's not, they're a first-round exit. That's how valuable he is. That's how much him being out shakes up the rest of the league. Boston, you're New York, you're saying, well, damn, now the floodgates have really opened, because I know right now the Knicks probably looking at it like, you know, you ain't praying on nobody's downfall. You don't want nobody to be injured. But damn it, if you're trying to get to the championship, you trying to make it through it, you might have to see those guys. But if he's not available, again, it's not good for Detroit. They could be an early round out in the playoffs.
All right, so the words on the bottom of the screen there, that's the bad news. Let's talk about the good news. The good news is they got a 4-game lead in the Eastern Conference standings for the 1 seed. And I do think seeding is less important in the East this year than health, obviously, but the Pistons have worked very hard, and it would be terrific if they could get the 1 seed. So they have some cushion there on the 1 seed, and they've played okay without Cade this year. They're 5-2 without him, and there's some tankers left on that schedule. They should, there's some tough games, no doubt, but they should get some wins. You look at man, that's going to be that road trip at the Thunder. That won't be fun. But okay, now I will say, they get to play the Wizards tonight. I would strongly advise winning that game, for example. Okay, but I will say this. We've seen injuries before, and Perk, I know you had a rib injury in your career. When the Pistons announced this injury, they did not announce a rib injury. Now, maybe they're not giving it all, but if he avoided major rib injury, that could potentially be more positive for him to come back on the shorter time frame. So I'm sure he's feeling it today. I'm sure he is not feeling great about life. I don't think you can fly with a collapsed lung. He's probably taken a bus back to Detroit, or it'll probably be a very nice bus, but it probably will be a long day for him to get back. But I do think that there's reason to believe, if you're a Pistons fan, that this will not derail even your seeding, much less your playoff.
Well, and let's not forget, C.J. McCollum had something like this recently, and he missed 2 weeks, and then he was able to resume basketball activities.
No. And look, the way that science is now, the money that organizations spent for us doctors and the medical staff, I believe he is going to come back. But I do think it's a blessing in disguise for the Detroit Pistons, because now you can see or put to the test the perimeter play, because the big question has been, who is going to be that number 2 option on the perimeter that's going to elevate their game come postseason time? Is it going to be Jenkins? Is it going to be Hollins? Is it going to be Tobias Harris?
Right.
Now these guys are able to showcase.
Yeah, we'll see how it works itself out. And if the worst-case scenario does happen, they will see who they need to potentially stick with or move on from in the offseason as well. All right, let's move on to the top game from last night. LeBron versus KD. Lakers in Houston for game 2 of their back-to-back meetings, their baseball series. This one lived up to the hype. LeBron
Hollywood hot streak that is the Los Angeles Lakers hand a storm. L.A. and Houston meeting on Monday. The Lakers winning. It was more of the same in last night's encore. Luka dropped 40. LeBron added 30. Lakers extend their win streak to 7. They win 124-116. L.A. has won 10 of 11 to grab third place in the West. A game and a half ahead of Minnesota. Houston is now 5th. Let us talk about it with our Brian Windhorst. Brian, what do you make of the Lakers' 7-game win streak?
Well, it's really helped them in the standings. They're in pretty strongly in the 3 seed, and obviously the win streak is something to be excited about. But I'm not focused on those two things, Jay. I am focused on the process that the Lakers are developing here. As this is developed, we have seen Luka Doncic take a bigger role on the offense, and he has had the 7 most prolific games he's had as a Laker in this stretch. Meanwhile, LeBron, he has reduced. He has just had his 7 lowest volume shooting games of his career. And as a result, his efficiency is up. Luka's scoring is up. Their overall defense has played better. And guess what? Ever since Luka got to the spot where he's only been allowed 1 more technical before he gets suspended, he's backed off the referees. No technicals in weeks. He's still yelling at the fans. That's fine. No angry at the officials. No technicals. The Lakers are playing right now in a way that is somewhat sustainable going forward, and that's what their fans should be excited about.
A story to keep watching, indeed. So is this one, Brian. The news that Cade Cunningham diagnosed with a collapsed lung, missing at least 8 games. What might this mean for the Eastern Conference leading Pistons?
Yeah, this is a blow. It's a blow to Cade Cunningham. It was a knee to his back a couple of days ago in Washington, and a blow to the Pistons. Now, I will say that when the Pistons announced this injury, they did not say he had any injured ribs. Sometimes when you have a collapsed lung off a blow like this, you've had rib injury. The fact that they don't announce a major rib injury, I think, makes it more likely that he will be able to return sooner rather than later. In the history of these injuries in the NBA, we've seen players miss typically between 3 and 4 or 5-ish weeks. The Pistons believe that this is not super serious. They're hoping that he will respond to the treatment, and I'm sure he's in a lot of pain right now. I'm sure he's not feeling great right now, but I do think there's a reasonable chance he can get back before the beginning of the playoffs. They have a 4-game lead in the loss column and some games against some tough opponents there for the number 1 seed. I think they'll be okay. The one thing that is a side note that is unfortunate, Cade has played 60 games this year. I think there's a reasonable chance he is not going to qualify with 65 games for postseason awards. And I think he was likely to finish top 5 MVP and be first-team All-NBA.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, we'll keep an eye on that. Brian Windhorst, appreciate you. Nice combo. I like how you put that together, the Tide Pops. Good job.
When you've been around the game as long as I have, Jay, this is what you do.
He does. That's what he does. Thank you, Brian.
That was so good. Oh, my gosh. At long last, good news for the WNBA yesterday. The league and the Players Union reached an agreement on a new collective bargaining agreement. After months of contentious negotiations, among the wins for the players, the salary cap goes from $1.5 million to $7 million now and rises to $10 million by the end of the 7-year deal. So now it is time to get very, very, very busy. After the NCAA tournament wraps up on April 5th, college players can turn their attention to the entry draft on April 13th. From there, we have training camp set for April 19th. Regular season tips May 8th. We still also have an expansion draft for 2 new teams. We have a free agency window. Over 120 players are looking to ink new deals, which is just crazy to think about as Rebecca Lobo is back with us. So can you just give us a sense of the chaos that is about to ensue with 69% of the league entering free agency? 43% of the players are unrestricted free agents.
That's the crazy thing, Hannah, is even before the negotiations took so long, we were all coming into this season thinking it was going to be the most exciting free agency period we've ever seen. Free agency typically starts on February 1st, but almost everyone, every veteran in the league is a free agent. Brianna Stewart, Asia Wilson, Nafisa Collier, all of the top players are free agents. If you look just at the 10 players on the first and second team All-WNBA last year, all except for Paige Beckers and Aaliyah Boston are free agents. When you look at rosters, the New York Liberty, Vegas Aces, Minnesota Lynx, they pretty much don't have players signed because everyone is a free agent. It is going to be such an exciting period. And this is the question for me. Is free agency going to happen before or after the collegiate draft? The collegiate draft is on April 13th. Right now, the tentative date for free agency is April 12th through the 18th. So there might be teams drafting in the WNBA college draft who don't yet know who else is on their roster. It is crazy because of the timing of all of this and because of all of the superstars who are free agents right now.
It sounds insane what you're saying and unprecedented, right? With this combination of free agency and the expansion teams and the draft, and teams are just going to be fully transformed and a couple of teams are just going to be created. And this is not dissimilar to what you went through at the very start of the WNBA when literally teams were being created, beg, borrow, and steal players from all over. So what in your mind make up the elements for a contending team? Like, how should these GMs be thinking?
Well, first of all, the big difference between in my era and this era is the max salary in year one of the WNBA, I think, was $50,000. I am so thrilled for these young women that now you're going to have players or earning over $1 million a year. I think what we've seen over the course of the last couple of years in the WNBA is teams that have veterans and veteran experience are those who can contend for a title, especially when it's a group of women who have been playing together for a stretch. You saw that certainly last year with Vegas. You saw it the year before with the New York Liberty. When you have veterans who have been in that moment before, who have experience playing with one another, and I think that's going to be especially important this year as teams come together relatively quickly, get together in terms of training camp after this crazy free agent cycle and everything that we've seen with the new CBA. I think we're once again going to see, all right, those players have played together before. They've won a championship before. They have a chance to do it again.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be really hard to keep those teams together. And as always, good coaching is also going to rule the day with all these new faces. Rebecca Lobo, you always rule the day with us.